Hi, I'm Kurt. The video you're about to watch is the very first time-lapse video I've ever made. In fact, it's probably the first, yeah, it is. It's the first video I've ever made of me painting or drawing or anything like that. This one is a pencil and charcoal commission, a portrait commission, and I didn't know the person. I really enjoyed doing it. Actually, it was on a bigger surface than I'm used to working on, which was nice because I could get more details in and that sort of thing. The reason I've made this video is because I'm kind of curious to see how people will react to it. So please, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, drop them in the comment section below. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, if you like the video, please let me know by liking it or subscribing. I'd really appreciate that too. And with that, let's get on with the video. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching. Right, so here I'm working on a commission for somebody, an A3 commission, and I was glad that it was this size because I don't usually work on this size. I usually work on something about half the size, and it was quite a pleasure to be able to fill in the details and features that I usually can't. You can see I've used a grid. I'm not always a fan of using a grid if I can avoid it, but this picture, the picture I was working from was relatively small and I had to blow it up. So I used a grid with diagonal lines, which I'm also still experimenting with. Here you can see I'm filling out the outline and just finding the right positioning of all the features. And I'm also using tonal areas. I'm outlining the tonal areas because I find that is perhaps the most useful in terms of getting all the proportions correct. And then here I'm filling in the background with a new discovery of mine, a charcoal stick. I'm sure other people, other artists are well aware of this, but it's a new thing for me. I used to use a charcoal pencil to cover these areas, and it just took forever, and it wasn't very effective. So this charcoal stick was wonderful to use. I had to, of course, you can see how loose the charcoal is there. It just falls all over the page. So I had to go out and use fixative because I don't want to risk smudging anything. And speaking of smudging, that's why I will work from the top left, from your point of view, from the viewer's point of view, down to the bottom right, so that my hand is resting on areas that are not yet well worked. I know there are other ways to do this using a stick and etc., but I don't really have the kind of setup for that. You have to have an easel against a wall kind of thing. I'm just working on an easel. Some people have asked me why I work on an easel, and I find that, because you want to be able to look at something that's upright, and otherwise, if you're sitting down and the paper is flat, you're getting the wrong perspective, and you draw something, it's usually elongated or something. So, and I just can't work leaning over a desk. I have neck issues with my disc, so that's not an option for me. Here you can see I'm using the graphite pencil and a blending stick on the forehead to fill in the details there, and I'm including these character features like bumps and wrinkles because I feel that one wants to capture the character of the person and not just a caricature, especially when you're doing a realistic portrait like this. I won't use a lot of charcoal on the face because the charcoal tends to have a different texture, and the graphite pencil is more silvery and gives it more of a photographic quality. Which I think is what one wants to achieve when you're trying to be as representational as this. There you can see again, when I do detailed lines, I'll use the blending stick afterwards just to smudge the stark edges out and give it a more of a realistic effect. It's quite difficult in areas like the eyebrows where I use a bit of charcoal too. But it's very necessary. Otherwise, you have these hard areas of line. Well, the rest is all smudged and soft. So it's a very important thing to use this blending stick, and a very useful tool as well, the blending stick. Sometimes I'll use the eraser to lighten areas of tone. It's a very useful thing. One's got to just erase very softly so that you don't erase all the pencil, but only some of it. And as you can see, I use the blending stick a lot, possibly as much as the pencil, because it keeps some of the pencil on it, and so you can use it to create softer areas of broader tone. A very useful tool indeed. Here I'm working, that line that I just created there was a mistake actually, because that was supposed to be separated by tone alone and not by line. So it took me some while to get rid of that line and just turn it into a tonal difference. But I did get it right in the end. Here I'm working on the eye again, and as I said, it was really a pleasure to be able to put the right details into the eye, and as much as I could in this. In fact, I'm looking forward to doing something even bigger at some point, because I can only imagine it'll be even more satisfying. So there you can see I'm using the blending stick over those lines, just getting them to look a bit softer. Again, a very useful tool, and just blending them further. Using the eraser to lighten up certain areas. Not erasing completely, and sometimes if I do, then I'll go over that area with the blending stick again. Now I'm afraid I think this is more or less where I got to in terms of the time lapse, because my tripod broke, so I had to use reference photos after this. Hopefully next time I'll be able to do a full video. But yeah, this is about where I got to, just blending in the nose area there. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's how far I got with the time lapse, and then I started moving to the bottom right, doing the beard. I really enjoyed that part because I got quite creative with the beard. I sort of gave it a bit of a wavy, expressive feel there, and that was fun to do. Probably my favorite part. There's the full face, and then of course I did the neck and the shirt and the background next, and that we have the full face. The neck and the shirt were pretty quick. Took me about a day, and yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm still learning, and it's a process, but there we go.